All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are tackling a really big idea. I mean, one that could reframe our entire digital world. We're going to be talking about the very ground beneath our digital feet and a new way to build it on something, well, something real.
You know, for decades, we've called our era the information age. Sounds pretty good, right? But what if that's just completely wrong? The material we're digging into today makes a really bold claim that the last 80 years haven't really been about information at all. They've been about something way more slippery: unverified, unattested data. Welcome to the Age of Unattested Truth.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll really unpack what this Age of Unattested Truth means. Then we'll see why it's got our brand new AI systems standing on some seriously shaky ground. After that, we'll introduce a potential solution, a substrate for reality. We'll look at its constitution, and finally, we'll imagine what it looks like to move from just information to actual verifiable truth.
Okay, Section 1. Let's get into how we even got here, and why calling this the information age totally misses the real story. This timeline really says it all, doesn't it? The whole AI explosion feels like it happened overnight, but the seeds were planted way back in 1943 with the first neural networks. Then you have these long, quiet decades of slow progress, and now, bam! We've got chatbots and AI models that feel like a totally different species, but the whole time they were being built on the exact same flawed foundation.
And here it is. This is the absolute core of the problem. Information isn't knowledge. It's just data. It's been stripped of its context. It has no verification, no anchor to where it came from. It's just stuff floating around. And we've built our most powerful tools, our entire digital world, on top of this ocean of unverified stuff.
Which brings us right to Section 2.
Let's look at the real-world consequences of building on that shaky foundation, especially for the artificial intelligence that's starting to run everything. This is where things get really serious. Our AIs are brilliant, right? But they're also fundamentally blind. Just think about it for a second. An AI can learn calculus, but it has no idea who Isaac Newton was. It's trained on the entire internet, but it can't tell the difference between a peer-reviewed scientific paper and a popular conspiracy theory. It can mimic human conversation perfectly, but it has no clue who it's actually talking to. The human being on the other end of the line is just invisible.
And this quote, wow, it just nails it. We got so obsessed with efficiency, with optimizing every little thing to be faster and smoother, and in that race for pure efficiency, we totally lost the plot. We never stopped to ask, what are we actually optimizing for? And who are we optimizing out?
So here's the result. Total fragmentation. You, the real person, you're a whole being. You're a parent, a worker, a patient, a citizen. But to our digital systems, you're just a collection of scattered data points. Your power company sees a ratepayer. Your boss sees a worker. The clinic sees a patient. None of them see you. They literally can't. The system isn't designed for it.
And all that fragmentation, all that disconnect from reality, it comes with a price tag, a frankly unbelievable one. The source material calls this the fragmentation tax. It's a hidden $7 trillion annual cost from the sheer waste of systems that can't talk to each other or to the real world. That's a staggering amount of value just leaking out of the system every single year.
Okay, so that's the problem. And yeah, it's a huge systemic one. So let's switch gears and talk about the solution being proposed. This is Section 3, a substrate for reality, and this core idea of something called point zero.
So this is the big idea. Instead of just scraping data from everywhere, point zero is about establishing an origin coordinate, a single, verifiable starting point where the truth of a person or a community or even an entire ecosystem, like a watershed, can be declared and confirmed or attested by the source. Not by some third-party company, by the source itself.
And it is so important to understand that this is not just another fancy database. The difference is night and day. A database collects data, it holds copies of it, and of course, it can be owned. A substrate is totally different. It doesn't collect, it connects to reality. It doesn't hold copies, it points to the original source. And this is the kicker. It can't be owned. It can only be stewarded. I love this line because it sums up the whole paradigm shift perfectly. The first web was a miracle, right? It connected documents. This new model, which the source material calls Zero Hive, it aims to connect the actual reality that those documents are all about.
So how on earth do you build something this foundational and make sure it lasts?
Well, that brings us to Section 4.
We're going to look at the architecture of Zyro Hive, which isn't just about code. It's about a constitution.
Think about it. The web we know was built on a technical foundation: open source code, protocols, servers. Zero Hive, on the other hand, is built on a civic foundation. It's based on a constitution with unbreakable rules, or locks, that are upheld by a group of stewards. It's a completely different way of thinking about how to build our digital world.
And this governance is so crucial because there's no single CEO in charge. It's a system of checks and balances with 4 different stewards. You've got the steward, who's the architect. You've got the guardian, who's the independent protector. The witness, who verifies the truth on the ground. And then the most important piece of the puzzle, the voices. That's us, the people, the communities, the actual sources of truth.
And the system's values are literally baked in as these unbreakable locks. And these aren't just marketing slogans. They're hard-coded rules. Things like sovereignty at the origin. Your data is yours, period. The 98% is the rule, meaning the vast majority of value created flows back to the people who actually created it. And it gets even deeper, with truly mind-bending ideas like giving legal standing to non-human things like rivers, or even protecting the rights of future generations. I mean, this isn't just technology anymore. This is a social contract.
So let's get to our final section and see what this all adds up to. What kind of world does a system like this actually enable? What happens when we finally make that shift from an age of just information to an age of real truth?
Well, the ripple effects could be massive. For AI, models would finally stop guessing and just ask the verified source what's true. For markets, traders could make decisions based on real-world conditions, not just flawed predictive models. For all of us, workers could be seen as whole people, and natural ecosystems would actually get a voice. And for the planet? Well, that $7 trillion leakage, that fragmentation tax, could finally be captured and put to good use.
And that's really the point, isn't it? The goal is to stop chasing more information, faster opinions. The goal is to build our world on a foundation of more truth, on verified reality.
So I guess that's the question we're left with. The last 80 years gave us a tidal wave of information, more than we could ever process. But maybe it cost us our connection to what's real. The next era is just beginning, and the choice feels pretty clear. Do we just want more information, or are we finally ready for more truth?